My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now. Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramerica. I'll be able to make friends. I'm just trying to make a little money. My job is not just to entertain, but to educate and put strong days like this in context, so call me. 1-800-743-CNBC. Tweet me at Jim Cramer. The oscillator. The oscillator. The oscillator. It predicted it again. I'm talking about that S&P proprietary oscillator I was talking about all week, which shows how overbought or oversold the market's gotten. Coming into this week, we had the most extreme oversold reading I've seen in ages. That meant the market would act like a coiled spring on any good news. Buy, 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 buy. And we got it in spades. Namely, a stunning decline in commodity prices and lower interest rates that no one was talking about could possibly have happened. And that's how we got to today with a terrific run. Dow skyrocketed 823 points. Amazing. S&P pole vaulted 3.06%. The NASDAQ surged 3.34%. I mean, all aboard. Could the timing be predicted? Well, wait a second. Of course it could. Not only could it be predicted, this move was called by the redoubtable Larry Williams on our Off the Charts, the best market historian out there, who gave us the whole rally on a silver platter. This guy's really good. Larry, you take a bow. All right, now the market's strength and breadth were breathtaking. Every single group rallied, with even the beleaguered cloud stocks turning into huge winners. Leading the group are two that we just profiled, Meta Platforms and Salesforce.com, both of which told us that business is robust and the street wasn't looking for that. It's perhaps much more robust than Wall Street believes. The analysts didn't know. I hope you saw me in the metaverse. I was jacked as all get out. You know, like jacked? Well, it was my avatar, actually. Anyway, can today's strength continue? We've got some incredibly important data coming next week, along with some important earnings, and I think that might answer the question. But we start Monday with the most anticipated quarter we've seen in ages, and that is for Nike. Yeah, which is a barometer for just about everything going from raw costs and supply chain issues to potential worries in both China and Europe. Almost every single brokerage firm has cut its price target for Nike going in the quarter. They're fretting about the sluggishness in China. You know what the good news is here? When everyone knows about weakness and you get weakness, it's already baked into the stock and it goes higher unless the numbers are truly catastrophic. With a great executive like John Donahoe at the helm, he's been a lot of places, but you know he was at ServiceNow. I think investors will look through Nike's Chinese weakness and buy this thing. Now, here's one that I potentially really haven't flagged enough at all, and that's just been my bad. Because it's become mission critical, and that's the Case-Shiller index, the price index, which we're actually going to move over here because it's cooler. It's one of the chief culprits of inflation, which has been an astonishingly high cost of housing. We need to see some signs that even if housing prices aren't coming down, that they aren't going up as rapidly as they were, thanks to the Fed's aggressive rate hikes, and of course, maybe even more important, the Fed's nonstop negative downbeat view, which makes you feel like, holy cow, I'd be a moron to buy a house. Now, we've seen a ton of raw costs that go into housing come down. Well, home prices come down with them. Or is this just a windfall for the home builders? Well, that's the impression I got from Lennar and KB Home earlier this week. They're keeping the windfall. As long as demand is this strong, why shouldn't they? Also on Tuesday, we hear from Aero Environment. Now, this is a drone company. I've been able to use one of their drones. I want to know if the U.S. government has ordered more of these drones to help Ukraine fight off the Russians. I know our government hasn't ordered nearly enough anti-tank missiles from Raytheon. Maybe the long-range drones are more effective. I don't think so, but I hope we get a chance to ask them. Hey, maybe there are peace talks we don't know about, and that's why the orders are slowed. Wednesday, Jay Powell speaks along with some of the other central bank counterparts, and I'm sure the topic will be how to combat inflation without having a nasty recession. Hey, I bet those other central bankers treat them with more respect than the elected officials. Fortunately, the outcome seems a lot more likely after this week's commodity collapse, not to mention easing in the semiconductor shortage that no one's talking about except for me because I found out about it today, and the big pullback in oil, which everybody's talking about. If you're feeling defensive, Wednesday is your day, my friends. Wednesday is it. Look at this, what we got here. We not got not one, but two high-quality slowdown stocks to choose from, General Mills or McCormick. Lately, Mills has been putting up some fantastic numbers. Plus, if Kellogg, which is kind of a not as good as General Mills company, but I'm being such a diplomat tonight, can break up on it in strength of its underlying businesses, who knows what General Mills could do if they wanted to. As for McCormick, I like their spice business. You know that. I have always kept their spice right in one hand because I keep two things on hand. I keep this on hand and the stuff for my contact lenses, and you don't want to confuse these two. Now, if we're going into recession because families don't go out too much, this is what you're going to be using, all right? Not this. Now, here's one that maybe you could be considered one of the great mysteries of this entire market. It's Bed Bath & Beyond. I always railed against this retailer for endlessly buying back their stock at high prices with nothing to show for it. The good news is the company always had plenty of cash on hand to support it, while it tried endlessly to transform the business. Now it has CEO Mark Tritton here. He's formerly chief merchant at Target, who's desperately trying to turn around the chain. But he must have felt a little more confident than he should have because Bed Bath continues to buy back stock aggressively. Yet the business hasn't turned yet, and the cash in the till is dwindling. Let's see if Tritton can pull something off here, although it's harder and harder to imagine that happening. I sure wish these guys would sell Bye Bye Baby to bring in some liquidity. It was a meme stock. And you know what? I really wish all the meme people well. The bell tolls for them. Paychex also reports on Wednesday, and we've had a series of really strong numbers from this payroll processor as small to medium-sized businesses continue to hire, continue to grow, and get extra services from these guys. Will that continue? CEO Martin Busey will tell us. What I can tell you is for certain, is that Paychex may make a lot of extra money thanks to the Fed rate hikes because they collect interest while they wait for people to deposit their checks, also known as the float. Thursday morning, we get the most important data of the week. It's what everybody buzzes about. It's the core Pce Deflator. That's the personal consumption expenditures index. We must see progress in these inflation numbers, or we can expect another 50 or 75 blows to our head. I think it's too early to expect good news from this number, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see some improvement. Otherwise, the bears are going to go be down there giving us the business. Constellation Brands reports on Thursday morning, and this is the key, really key position for my charitable trust because it has the fastest-growing beer franchise. It's got Corona, Modelo, and, yes, young people's favorite, Pacifico, because it's got a long neck and it has a yellow label. That's the only reasons I can think of. I think Constellation's growth is underestimated. It doesn't hurt that they're working on a cannabis beverage that could be very successful if our government were ever to legalize marijuana. After the close, we get results from Micron. Here, I fear the worst as prices keep weakening for its core microprocessors. This one has the potential to bring the whole alien semiconductor sector down. I think Micron's been hurt really severely by the Chinese lockdown, and its woes may be instantly transmitted to the whole complex. This Micron has just incredible pin action, and I fear it's going to gutter it, maybe get a 43. And then, you know, a 43 does not produce good. If you bowl, that's not so good. Finally, we get fresh PMI data, and that's the Purchasing Managers Index. And needless to say, we need to see weakness here in order to forestall more giant rate hikes in the future. Remember, we're looking for bad, okay? We don't want good because that emboldens Powell to do things we don't want him to do. Now, if we see some stalling with this number, then the entire soft landing thesis, which, you know, I believe in, will be reasserted. Next week is crucial in another way. It's been ages since we've been on pre-announcement watch, you know, where companies have to admit that things aren't going well. Things like higher labor costs, supply chain woes, the Russia-Ukraine war, they may be playing havoc with corporate bottom lines. That's such havoc that some companies may cut their forecasts next week before they are due to report, because they've looked at their order books and say, we don't have the mojo. They won't use the technical term mojo. They've got other things they call it. Many companies now know how they've done in the second quarter. They know their order books and might feel compelled to own up to weakness ahead of time because the numbers are so well below Wall Street's projections. It used to be 5%. They're 5% below. They should pre-announce, but they seem to get away with anything now. Bottom line, if we get through next week unscathed by the negative pre-announcements, it makes me feel a lot more confident that July won't be as bad as what we've just been through. It'll make me more bullish. Why don't we go to Nass in Florida? Nass!
Booyah, Mr. Cramer. How you doing?
Nass, I'm doing fine. It's Friday. I'm going to pull up with a mezcal in about an hour and a half, and I'm not drinking cheap scotch off a dirty linoleum floor. Not after today's action.
I agree. After today, I'm actually drinking a little scotch right now, in your honor.
Really? I hope it's like maybe single malt. Or are you going with some of my dad's old brands like Kentucky Gentleman?
Actually, it is a little Jim Beam going on here.
I like
so.
Beam. Suntory, it's good. Many different brands under the name. They've done great, and their cans are good. But don't forget, last night, I have to tell you, a little away from course, I had, unbelievable, I had the Jack and Coke Diet. It was unbelievable.
Oh, that's good.
Jack and Diet Coke. My wife had the Jack and she, I got to finish this. I'm sorry. My wife had the Jack and Coke Zero. That was even better. How can I help?
Oh, well, I am wondering about Hewlett-Packard.
Keep wondering.
A good time to buy? And
no, I don't like the low end. You know, look, I love Enrico Lores. He's terrific, but the PC business is weak, and that's a problem. I'm sorry I went on so long about the Coke and Jack, but, well, I call it actually Jack and Coke. But I have to tell you, he's brought up the Jim Beam. So it wasn't my fault. All right. Now, we rallied this week, and if we get through next week unscathed by negativity, then I got to tell you, I'm going to feel a little more positive about what's occurring. But don't get too cocky. That always fails us. Mad Money tonight. Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered properties. The REIT behind some of the country's biggest casinos was recently added to the S&P 500. It's got 5% yield, and we got to learn about this thing. Then Ivanhoe Electric delayed its IPO until next week. I'm taking a closer look at the mineral and metal mining technology company. You may not like it. And Oshkosh produces some of the toughest specialty trucks in the world. I'm learning more about the company's innovative pipeline with the CEO. Stay with Jimmy Chill.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @JimCramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.